We are down to the second to last episode of the Golden Bachelor, and it is down to Teresa and Leslie. Teresa and Leslie, the two people, the two ladies that I disliked the most. Y'all, this has become a labor of love. I promise y'all, if I was not recapping this show, I would not be watching it anymore. I did not want him to pick either one of those ladies. But okay, here we are. Right here we are. So, if you guys are brand new to the channel, I'm Tammy. This is Tammy Talks. I break down TV shows and pop culture one video at a time, interjecting my own thoughts, opinions, and theories into each and every video. So, if you enjoy that type of content, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you will. The like button if you enjoyed the video. If you guys didn't do anything else, like the video, because that'll kind of let the algorithm know, hey, people like this, let's show it to others. And leave some comments down below, mainly on who you think Gary is going to pick. If you have a spoiler and do not leave that down below. Please, not everybody likes spoilers. But we have made it to 19,000 subscribers. I love you all. Thank you so much. Because Bachelor Nation, you guys were a huge part of that. So, super close to 20,000, which is where I'm trying to get by the end of the year. So, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let's talk about this episode. So, this is the episode where they are on their last date and the potential fantasy suites, right? So, the potential overnighter. So, Gary is talking to Jesse. Gary said, knock boots. Don't get it twisted. Gary said, I can still crack a back if I need to, okay? Gary said, ain't nothing changed but my age. So, if sex were to come up, Gary said he's all for it. He can do it. He has no problem doing it, okay? He's prepared for this day. He points out that he has not told Teresa that he loves her yet. Now, some of y'all were in the comments saying that I did not understand Bachelor editing and that he did tell her, but off screen. Gary has not told Teresa that he loves her yet, which is interesting to me because if you haven't told her that you loved her yet, but you told Faith that you loved her, why is Teresa here and Faith isn't? Because Faith would have loved the horseback date. Also, just to clear something up, when I asked what does Gary see in Teresa, I wasn't talking about physically. So I had some people say, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Absolutely. I mean more so her personality. And it's just because we haven't seen much about Teresa's personality. Like the most we've seen from her is her kind of arguing with Kathy. So that's what I was kind of like, what does he see in her? Because at least Leslie, we know her personality. Faith, we knew her. Kathy, we knew her personality. But I feel like Teresa, we can't quite pinpoint what her personality is. So, nonetheless, let's get to the dates. So, the first date is Leslie. And Leslie runs up and she's excited to see him, jumps in his arms, yada, yada, yada. She thinks they're going ziplining, as did I. He said they are going rappelling 170 feet into a waterfall. I said, now, Gary, I wouldn't have done it. I am terrified of heights. I do not like large bodies of water. So it's a 2-0 for me. So, we're not going to get to the third strike. So I wouldn't have done it. But what I did notice is is Leslie saying that she was shocked they were able to find a shoe for Gary's foot. And I said, what does that mean? I didn't realize how big Gary's feet were. So Gary, I don't know how tall he is, but he definitely wears like a 14 or a 15. Gary got a foot on him. And then when he had them little white shoes on later with Teresa, I said, oh, Gary got a foot on him. I never realized. And it's all I could focus on the remainder of the episode. So they're going into this waterfall. Why did they put Leslie on the side with the water? So Gary's just going down and just, woo, this is nice. He's just repelling and pulling the cord and doing everything. Meanwhile, Leslie is damn near about to drown because that waterfall was up over her. She said, "Whoo, I didn't know it was gonna be slippery." And I'm looking at Gary just walking on dry land. I said, "Come on, y'all. Who set this up? Who who determined who went where?" I said, "Oh, I would have been so absolutely mad. I would have been so mad because of it's one thing if we're both getting wet. Why am I getting wet and you're not?" Nonetheless, Gary was very concerned about her the entire time. He kept asking if she was okay. He kept looking over at her, promised to come down level with her. So he was, for all intents and purposes, by her side the entire time. So they have dinner later, and Gary points out that she hasn't asked him any of the hard questions in a while. She said, "Okay, bet. When's the last time you had sex?" Poor Gary almost choked on his water. He said, "With my hand or someone else?" I said, "Oh, Gary, you can just answer the question in general." But he said that it's been a long time for him, and she said it's been about a year or so for her. So Gary said, "Let's get to some real questions since you playing. What are we gonna do about where we live?" Now we know that Gary is in Indiana and Leslie is in Minnesota, I think Minneapolis. So she's on the tail end, Minneapolis. I'm in Wisconsin, so I know that Minneapolis is on the tail end, right on the border of the state. From Indiana, you figure from Indianapolis, I'm in Milwaukee, I'm 4 hours away. You add the 5 hours to that it takes for me to get to Minnesota. We're looking at roughly 9, maybe 10 hours as a drive. Honestly and truly, that's not that far. You know what I mean? When you think about it, it's really not that far. So Leslie said that she doesn't want to leave Minnesota permanently. Her kids are there, her grandkids are there. So that makes sense. She said instead of being bi-coastal, we can be bi-Midwestern. And I think that would be like the best compromise. You know what I mean? I feel like so many people are focusing on the fact that he didn't like pick Faith because Faith doesn't want to move. I mean, is Gary unwilling to move? Does Gary think that whoever he picks should move to where he is? I think with their ages, with them both having kids, with them both having grandkids and friends and family, and they're both very settled and established, it kind of would make sense to kind of split time. And I'm not saying that they have to split time where it's like back and forth every week, but they could do, okay, we're going to spend, let's spend 3 months here in Minnesota. We're going to spend another 3 months here in Indiana. So how are we going to work this out? She said that they can work it out, they'll figure it out. So that was a good answer, because it's not her being like, "Well, I'm not moving, not leaving this." She's very open to it, but at the same time, you're gonna say whatever you think he wants to hear, so you get picked too. Not saying that Leslie is lying, but that is kind of what people do. So they start talking about whether I think Gary asked her, like, "Are you ready to do this for the long haul?" And he talks about, how in the marriage vows it is till death do us part. She said that's foreign to her. Leslie has been married twice already before, and she's never had that. She's never had that love where the only reason I'm not with this person is because of death. So she wants Gary to know that she's ready for that. She's open to that, and she's not afraid of the commitment that, marriage vows have. And I'm like, I kind of feel like, I mean, we know that because you've been married twice, but it's more of a, are you ready to commit to him? It's not, are you, afraid of commitment in totality, but are you ready to commit to Gary? I feel like this is very premature to even get engaged to. And I know that's how the show works, but I think to like get engaged after, what has this been? Maybe a month or so. That's rough. That is rough. So they get the card from Jesse, they open it up, and it's, here's the key to the vanity suite. Go get it popping if y'all want to. So they get inside because they obviously take it. Oh, this is a question for y'all. Does anybody not do the vanity suite? I would like to know. Let me know if there has been an instance where um the bachelor or bachelorette themselves has not wanted to go into the fantasy suite. I would love to know that. So once they're inside, he tells her that she is the one. The one. So I'm thinking, why are you even going to go and entertain Teresa later? He tells Leslie, you are the one that is going to echo in this lady's head if she does not get picked. So we don't get to see anything that's in there. Like, we don't get any conversations. I mean, I don't want to see sex, but we don't even get to see like a little bit of conversation from the two of them. But okay. Gary said, ain't none of our business. I said, excuse me, Mr. Gary. Excuse me, Gary. Because as soon as I said it out loud, that was what the TV told me back. I said, my bad. I won't ask again. So let's pan over to Teresa. So they go on a horseback ride. Same thing. She runs up. She's excited to see him. But Gary is not as excited as he was with Leslie. It's a very stark difference in his demeanor and just like the excitement in his voice. Both were very different. So they go on a single file horseback ride. Now, I have been on horses before. I have been on horseback rides before, and mine were always in experiences like with like a school or I remember the last time I went was actually in high school. It's been a while. That has been a while. But it was in high school. I was in a summer program and we went horseback riding as like a field trip. They used to call them enrichment trips. So one of our enrichment trips was we went on a horseback excursion and we were in a single file line. But I'm like, if I were to ever go with my boyfriend or husband, I would like us to be side by side. Faith would have knew what to do, but we got Teresa. So Teresa notes that Gary is very quiet. Like she's kind of saying little things, not like really carrying a conversation, but she's like kind of probing to get him to say some things and he's not. So once they get to the end and they're sitting down, she lets him know once again how she can't see a life without him and my family loves you and I love you and this person loves you and that person loves you. So she's like going on, and Gary tells us in the confessional that he's not able to compartmentalize enough right now. So while he wants to be there and be present with Teresa, he's thinking about, I wonder what Leslie doing. Gary also told us, I forgot to mention, that him and Leslie reached another level of closeness and intimacy and whatever. Do I think that all these people are sleeping together? I don't know. I think it would be very irresponsible for Gary to sleep with Leslie than sleep with Teresa. Are these back-to-back days? Are these different weeks? Like, how does this happen? Because I think it would be very irresponsible for y'all to put these people back to back and now he's sleeping with them or possibly sleeping with them. So they get to dinner and Gary is wondering if, they've gone as far as they can. He feels like there's a lot of things he doesn't know about Teresa. And I kind of feel like, well, damn it, Gary, why is she here? Why is she here? Gary asks her, what do you do for work? And I'm thinking that's a first date question. You're asking her what she does for work. We still don't know. Teresa said that she bought a stock one day. Okay. She then said that she kept saying, I think she said George. I'm assuming that is her husband. Told her that he needed her to get a job to get some insurance. So she got a job and she beat out all these college kids. And now she has a bunch of securities licenses. So she's not the day trader anymore. Does Teresa sell insurance? Maybe she's an insurance agent. Maybe she's an insurance agent. Or yeah, she has to be, because she says she has a bunch of licenses and securities, and you do need those to sell different types of insurances. I don't know, but I don't think Gary got the answer to his question, because I sure in the hell didn't. Okay. So he asked her, how long are you going to do it? Because I'm assuming Gary's retired. So she says that basically, when you want me to quit, I will. So she says she's doing this long enough till she finds a guy that wants her to fall back from it, and she's willing to just walk away from it. Now, I wonder if how easy that would be for her. You know what I mean? Like, I work, right? I don't do YouTube full time. I work in corporate America, a Fortune 100 company. Um, I'm a specialist. So I like my job. I love my job. It's interesting. It's fun. I thoroughly enjoy it. Now, if I were to meet a man that's super rich and wants to take care of me, under their provision that I have to quit my job, I don't know how easy it would be for me to just step away. When you step away from things that are a part of you for so long, it's hard to do that. And I think at Teresa's age, because these are people of a certain age, at Teresa's age, for her to step away from this job, not knowing if her and Gary are going to last forever, I wonder how easy that would be for her to do. I do. So they get the same little card and they go into the fantasy room, and right away, they are laying down on the bed kissing. I said, "Oh, I know what y'all doing tonight." Okay. Gary said we don't get to know though, so we cut to the end. So we are left with Gary pondering the next morning. He thinks that his life will be exciting with Leslie, but he thinks that he just has a deep bond with Teresa. So I do want to say this. Out of the two, I think that he should pick Leslie. I think because Gary seems like a man that, even I think he's 72, he's still very active. He still likes to do a bunch of things. And when you look at the type of dates that he has had with Leslie, they did the ATV riding, they just did the rappelling, that seems to be what he enjoys doing. Like, he hasn't slowed down, he hasn't stopped. That's the type of stuff that he likes doing. Do we see Teresa doing an ATV with him? Do we see Teresa going rappelling with him? Do we see Teresa hiking with him? Or I don't, he looked like the type that when you go on a vacation somewhere tropical, he's snorkeling and doing all these different things. I think Leslie would be a better match for him. Whenever Gary talks about Teresa, he talks about how they both have had their spouses die in the same way. And it's not trauma bonding. Is that trauma bonding? It's like they're bound together because they have a similar like negative experience. And I kind of feel like that's why he's drawn to her, because he feels that she's going to understand more so than anybody, or more so than Leslie in this aspect, what it means to lose a spouse in this manner. So I think Leslie's saying that she's never, gotten to the till death do us part, whereas Teresa did. I think he's leaning more so towards Teresa just because of that, which is kind of odd. He keeps saying that he finds home in her. So Teresa obviously has the same qualities, or some of the same qualities, that his wife did. So once again, let me know who you guys think Gary is going to pick. Better yet, no. Who do you guys think Gary should pick? Let's do that in the comment section. If you have not already, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, share with a friend, and leave a comment down below. Catch you guys in 2 weeks. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Bye.